The following program is made possible by the partners of Honor Grace Consulting. Yahweh TV and Matamba Power Facebook profile accounts. Assume no responsibility or liability for opinions shared on this program. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the Global Symposium. I'm Thiess Dumbuya and I'm here to be your host through the information about global technology. The internet technology has dangers. Did you know that? A lot of people talk about the positive things, but this broadcast is here to present you with the dangers to human life. Regardless to your faith, we want you to know and believe you should have access to know about the technological dangers that exist and are operating on internet and artificial intelligence technologies. That being said, let me take it as if you have never been on the broadcast. Our platform is a humanitarian platform that reaches into 90 nations at the moment, and we share about the dangers, the dark side of technology that exist so that you can A, grow in your awareness, and B, so you can prepare yourself and decide how do you want to address it. Do you want to speak to your leaders? Do you want to vet the information first? Do you want to approach the heads of your government and the United Nations about what you would like to happen? Whatever course you decide to take, at least you'll know and you can inform others in your family and community. And then at least I've done my job. So this broadcast was created out of the generosity and kindness and humanitarian services of Honor Grace Consulting. HonorGraceConsulting.com has a humanitarian service division, and we are interested in helping people that are undereducated and live in poverty in Africa and other nations, such as India, to come out of poverty. So how do we do that? Number one, they need money. Number two, they need education. So the technological information supports other people in those conditions obtaining money and coming out of poverty, and we provide training and support. Okay, before I get off in that direction, let me just go over some of the known dangers to the internet technology. Now, this show is about an hour to 50 minutes long. It's separated into 15-minute segments. So I'm going to discuss with you what the dangers are, how they affect your life. I'm also going to discuss with you and present to you names of experts in the field, in addition to myself and the other doctors that serve with me in this broadcast. At the close of the show or towards the end, I will list for you the different places on social media and other ways that you can connect with Global Symposium. If you would like to start to share this information at your facility, at your workplace, in your community, you are welcome to connect with us, whether you agree with our faith or not. That's not the issue. The issue is that everybody should know about the technology dangers, which is affecting all human life and conditions right now. Okay, that being said, let me start by telling you some of the names of the experts. Some of the experts I'm going to name you may have heard of, like Elon Musk. Whether you're a fan of his or not, he has come out and spoken about the dangers of the internet and his concern. Let's go on with other people on the list. A lot of them have books, and if some of them don't have books, like Margaret Mitchell. Margaret Mitchell is an authority and expert in terms of what other people in the industry think of her. And she has written reports and articles, although I don't know if she has a published book. So you'll see when you look these things up, and I will see that you have a list. If you connect with us later, we have PDFs, we have eBooks, and all you have to do is connect. We post a lot of this information on our social media platforms, and we're getting to a place in production to be able to list them on screen while we're broadcasting. All right, so we'll start the list with Sophia, and I think her last name is Ubijampel. I may say it wrong. She doesn't have a book out that I know of, but she is considered an expert. The next name would be Zuboff, Zuboff. She definitely has books out and is considered an expert. Kate Crawford, she has books out, at least one. Off from my notation, I have the word book. So I don't know if it's many books or at least one book. So I'm going to tell you that because I try to be accurate. Nick Bostrom is considered one of the fathers of this technology. He has a book out, and not only one book, but I was reading an article about him. He's so concerned with what has been birthed that he's devoting himself to correcting it. And I think he stated in the article that it may take 2 or 3 decades, which is 20 or 30 years, right? So if it's that important to a person who helped create it to stop the problem of it, we ought to be recognizing what the problems are and doing what we can against the problems. Before I go on with the list, let me just say that we have to start to have some place to come, like Global Symposium, for getting information that keeps us up on tech dangers. There are so many tech dangers that most people don't realize. They're not monitoring themselves. They may think about the time they spend on the computer, but they may not be monitoring the health effects more than that. Yes, you know, if your eyes are strained, and if you really want to look at something, depending on your age, you may look at it anyway and not think very much about it. Over a period of time, it could be way more serious than just, my eyes are strained. Let me just get off the computer for a moment and I'll feel better. Here's the remaining names on our list. Darren Ajamola and Simon Johnson, they've written at least one book together, and what I read said they were working on another book. Stuart Russell, I don't know if he has a book out or not, but I do know that he's considered an expert in the field of technology, and he has made some statements warning other people what he thinks is wrong or needs to be addressed. Jeffrey Hinton has warned people about what he thinks needs to be addressed. He is also considered an expert in the field of technology, in his area of technology. Sherry Turkle. Sherry Turkle does have at least one book out, and she is also considered an expert in technology. Now, my apostle wall, there are 4 or 5 apostles that stand with me in this vision. They're all doctors. They're all educated. They are in Africa, and they all have new books coming out, which I published, discussing technological dangers. One of them discusses healthcare. Another discusses family and crime. Another one discusses how technology is dealing with education, integrated into education, how it's impacting education, and what some of the cautions or red flags are for people to know about and then make a decision based on information, accurate, vetted information. Let's go over a list of the not health concerns. Let's go over a list of the dangers of technology. That's what I wanted to say. A list of the dangers, the ones that I know off the top of my head are nothing compared to the ones that I keep finding on the internet. So in terms of the dangers already known at this point, faith would be at the top of my list, and our worship practices being affected by technology. Health and healthcare, education, jobs, crime, the types of crime that are being facilitated because people can remain hidden within the internet technologies is climbing, and it's becoming specialized areas of crime. So we really need to talk about that more later, but let's go ahead with this list. Privacy, surveillance, fake news, manipulation. You may not think manipulation is significant, but what if it was governments to governments using technology to manipulate? There are a lot of aspects that we're not covering in detail today, but each one on this list, each subject area is a point of presentation for future broadcasts of Global Symposium. And you can tune in of how it affects you to that broadcast if you want. We're happy to give you that information and research it. False news, bullying, cloning. For example, reliance upon the internet. People can become addicted to the internet, and addiction is one of the dangers of technology. There are little children that are having to be weaned off of the internet and receive medical psychiatric care, and in some cases medication, and not being allowed on the internet except once after so many months of being away from the internet because they were so impacted by the internet. Okay, and I'm going to go on down the list. Control. Control is a danger associated with the internet. Why? Because human beings don't seem to have control over what's going on when technology is involved. Now, some people may try to argue that and say, well, you can decide if you let them do this, this, and this to your information, but that's not entirely true. There are some things that the technology does, whether you give it permission or not, and you may not know what they are, but they do exist. And what happens to the information? Who's getting the information? How is it being used? Now, we all know that just because there's a law that says you must disclose something about how it's being used, that doesn't mean that that is exactly what's going on. And where is the check and balance? Where is the proof? I'm just bringing these things up because when you talk to your leaders, when you talk to your friends, family, government officials, when you talk in a global platform, which a symposium is, a discussion, a conversation, an exchange, you have to consider the facts and the elements pertaining to your subject. All right, let's go further. The internet is known to affect both the law and government. And there are experts saying, red flag, this is dangerous. We need to look at this. We need to control this. We need to monitor this. We need to fix this, change it, modify it, put some stops in it, put some warning flags in it, whatever. You get the idea. If technology has control over your utilities and your food supply, and it decides you're not getting those things. No, you can't come in the grocery store. You don't have the right algorithm programmed for you to be allowed to buy food. Think about this. You paid your utility bill, but the computer, the technology is saying, no, I don't have it here. It's not recorded. It's not documented. It's not accurate. I red flagged it. It's suspicious. Anything can stop you if the computer is in charge of making that decision. And one of the biggest objections to the computer is that there is no emotional capacity or compassion capacity for the computer because it's not human. So there is no sensitivity. You know, when you're talking to a person, they can register, is this person telling a lie or telling the truth? Is this person really in a desperate, needy situation? And show some human compassion, get a supervisor, whatever. With the computer, it's not like that. We all know that. Okay, so these are areas of potential destruction to human beings that we have to pay attention to. My words are not completely perfect in depicting all this. I'm just scratching the surface right now. So you'll understand Global Symposium is here for you to give you tech information, education, knowledge, and support you growing in awareness and making the necessary decisions, changes, steps, and preparation you need to make before technology is more of a factor in your culture and daily life and family life and community life and worship life, regardless to what faith you are. Okay, I hope you understand where I'm coming from. The list continues with technological biases, technological communications. Now, in 2025, I read that I think it was 92 to 95% of all technology and of all communications will be run or done by technology. So what happens when you need to talk to a person? How long will it take? How do you know if you're talking to a bot? How do you know the bot's process? How do you answer or ask anybody anything? Have you ever called a bank and if you don't have A, B, or C as your affair, you want to talk to the loan department, you want to talk to the membership, or you want to talk to something else. And what you want to say is not in those three categories and you can't get through. Oh, if it's about your credit card and all. So if it's not those three things, duh, guess what? You have to push one of them anyway, even though that's not it. Because otherwise you will never get to a person and you can call back 10, 20 times. And it may be the only number you can reach. I'm just making an example because when the technology takes more of a hold in society, it's going to be like a gridlock. What about for people who have disabilities in thinking or seeing or even hearing? The way they're engineering some of these safeguards, they're not thinking about and programming in for those people. Now, if you see half of the letters or a little fraction of the letters, if you can't see well, how can you pick which is correct, even if you know the answer? Believe me, it's problematic. Okay, let me go on and finish the list. We're almost done. Economics and currencies are affected by technology. How they're affected does have some dangers to it. Everybody's talking about the good things about technology, but we need to become increasingly aware and sensitive to both the dangers and how we're responding and how the dangers are impacting or affecting our lives and the choices and the communication we're making being effective before technology takes over more. That's the point in warning Africans, because everything in the industry by experts says that undereducated people, listen carefully, undereducated people, hello, America, Black Lives Matter, undereducated people, hello, my Latino brothers and sisters in South America and America, undereducated and people in poverty are going to be the hardest hit for destruction, for health problems, and everything else by the internet. Whatever those dangers are, they are predicted to hit the undereducated and the poor more severely and worse. Okay. That being said, the last one on here that I have listed for today is morals and ethical guidelines. Global technology is affecting those two. And so I want you to understand that as you connect with Global Symposium, you're able to get this information in many formats. You're able to connect with us online. You're able to see our videos, even our video ebooks for children. You know, don't touch the buttons that your parents didn't tell you, because you don't want to connect with people that you should not know or people that would gain access to your family. I mean, there are ways to put things for children to begin to understand and be insightful that I need to obey my parents, that this machine is dangerous, is not just fun. It has some serious factors like unlocking the front door and letting in a stranger. So we have all that coming, and it's so wonderful. I'm so happy about it. Anyhow, So now you have a list and you know some of the shows, information, subjects we're going to be attacking in the Global Symposium. So let me tell you this. The Global Symposium has online platforms through Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, YouTube, and did I miss something? Threads. I mean, we are out there and you can connect and align with us. Our purpose is to feed you the information. You make your own decision. Support you in sharing the information. You make your own path to do that, however you decide to do it. Yes, you may rebroadcast and share anything put across our platform in a way that it supports the mission and vision of Global Symposium. We have ebooks coming out and video ebooks coming out for you to enjoy reading through, sifting through, thinking through, how does this apply to you? And what is it you're in a position to do? Additionally, to you taking your little cell phone, if you have one in your country, and letting 4, 5, 6, 7 people around you watch and listen to the broadcast, and maybe you all can share and contribute to the data required. You can certainly spread word of mouth. You can certainly take this to whatever places you go and worship, because this has nothing to do with trying to change anybody's faith. It is only to bring you the information as a respected human life in the global family. And if more things were put across in a global family mindset and platform, we would be a better world and culture. We've got to get our governments away from fighting. Listen, let me explain something else to you. It is in the history of man's development, and I won't go into the details of this right now, that before man knew that there were metals in the earth, that they were shown how to get the metals, and that they were shown how to make the metals into tools for fighting. So it's the same metal that was shown that is being used to create the technology. It's still metal in your phone. It's still metal in the equipment. Okay. That being said, I'm going to leave that to rest right now. And I will tell you that if you decide to continue with Global Symposium, we're looking for artists. We're looking for artists that will write songs about the information and Global Symposium. We're looking for writers that will write about the subjects we're discussing. And writers from Nigeria, for example, you can make $40,000 to $50,000 a year legally of American money selling your writings on platforms like Upwork or Fiverr or Etsy. And we will help you publish your books. We will help you monetize. If you want to share your songs in less than a 2-minute clip, send them over. Send them to email. Give me a message on Facebook. Send it there. Do something so that we can connect. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Listen, this is so new. We're just up and running. This is probably our 3rd broadcast, and we are looking to connect with people who want to connect with us, of course. And then however you see yourself fitting in, however you believe you can serve humanity with us and help other people, let us know. We're open to it. You know, I'm an OG, I'm an old head. Yeah, but here's the point. I'm not old in my mind and my creative way of doing things. So I'm open to you. And I can't do everything without you. I need you to be involved. Why? Because if you don't know the dangers of the technology, just let's look at the crime area. It's very dangerous if you don't know the dangers of the technology. I had a young man call me from Gambia. I used to live in Africa. I lived in Senegal and I lived in Gambia, and never wanted to come back. I really love Africa, and I found a place where I belonged. I had such a good time with the food there being chemical free, and the relaxed and free disposition of how you spend your time and so forth. For me, I appreciated it very much so, because I basically was sent there to die. You know, my doctor had said I was failing to thrive, and I had about 2.5 months to live. So it's very important to me that I went to Africa, and it changed my life. And I'm trying to understand if our producer is going to come in and tell me something. And if so, I'm going to pause here. Okay. So when I went to Africa and I was standing looking at the rain and I saw someone's house washed out by the rain, and I was like, oh my gosh, like they have to deal with this every rainy season. Some of the people just get wiped out in their housing situation. I mean, there's such a different living condition. Of course, if you've been there, from the east to west to over there, the condition. But here's the point. The point is, what are the people who come to Africa to visit going to do about it? Don't just come and have a good time and use people. I mean, I just don't agree with that philosophy. So I didn't stay in the poshy hotels. I took residence in with the people. And I eat, you eat. I have a roof, you have a roof. I started a foundation and learned some very serious lessons about how some Africans look at me. I'm just a white woman to them, and they want to use and exploit me as much as they do someone else. So there were some realities I was confronted with that I wasn't prepared for. I don't want someone calling me boss lady. I don't want to be looked at as a meal ticket. And so I began to share with them, hey, you don't need a toe bob, you need a business. You don't need a handout. No, you don't need to compromise your body. You need to understand what you have to work with in your hand. What do you have? Let's monetize it. What can you do? What can you make? What do you think? What can you share? So that's my approach. I want to help monetize as many people who are in poverty and educate for free as many people who will accept the education. And that's part of what Global Symposium is doing. We're putting out free education, business education. Yes, it'll be on video. All you have to do is tune in. Levels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up until, in different fields, you're able to handle managing your business. Can you get a business right now online? Yes, a lot of them. A lot of the drop ship businesses you could get. A lot of the businesses that you can sell your own photography. And as we go into further programming on television, even right here on Matimba TV and Yahweh TV, you can have your own shows broadcasting things that you know about or things that you do. So just connect. I'm your producer. I'm right here. I'm waiting for you. I'm family to you. For goodness sakes, don't, turn a deaf ear and close your eyes and think, there's been a lot of promises made to Africans from people from America, our people from Europe. Yes, they have, but that's not me. I've got bloodline with you and I care about you and I love you. Why would I do this if I don't? I'm not making money from it. I'm putting money into it and I don't have a lot of money. Not now. Anyway, that being all out in the open because I believe in transparency, let's go forward with some more information about Global Symposium. So I told you about my being sick because I was literally recovering from a stroke. And I heard, hold a global symposium. Hold a global symposium. I said, okay, how? The next thing I heard was how. So I followed the instructions. And so that led me to connect with 4 doctors in Africa that support Global Symposium, that have books coming out on the subject, that have been very kind and prayerful about what Global Symposium is to do and my life and part in it, and all those who are coming around the world. Imams, I welcome you to contact me, sit down on the phone, virtual call. Let's discuss the facts. You want a PDF? You can have it. You don't have to pay for it. I am happy to supply the information for whoever asks and wants it, connects and desires it. Not a problem. Connect to the social media platforms and you don't have to ask. You can just anonymously go get it and help people, help them protect themselves against what's coming against humanity. Okay. I've covered free services to monetize you. I've covered education that's free. I've covered business support. I've covered the fact that we have video ebooks coming and we do accept your donations. If you look on the broadcast and you watch this network, you will see shown to you periodically a QR code where you can donate to Global Symposium. It cost us about 450 American dollars a month to put forth this broadcast. I just want to tell you, if you're thinking to support it, it's a worthy investment and it's not a lot of money. We will accept any size donation, of course, and we're not trying to pressure anyone, but we think that when you see the broadcast, you'll realize it's a worthy cause. We're just trying to get people aware of the information, and if they feel united around the globe, great. You can watch us on all these different internet places, and we're happy to connect with you. And yes, we do have a TikTok, and that's a place where some people like to connect. And this is something, the symposium is something where you can send in your comments, send in your questions, ask questions, answer questions, because a symposium is a conversation. This is a conversation about internet technology dangers. We need to know. We need to make educated choices. We need to have the facts. We need to have educated people present the facts, which is why I brought you a list of the dangers and a list of those who have books and articles and reports. All right. Now, I want to share a little bit about Apostle Dr. Rowland, and some of the other apostles also are qualified and capable of doing this as they understand it. There are some spiritual dangers to the internet technology. We go into that in depth in a book coming out by Apostle Dr. Rowland Talbot, T-A-B-O-T. These books will all be available through Global Symposium Publishing on Amazon KDP. And we will also have broadcasts where each of the apostles come on and discuss the subjects and discuss their books. And hopefully at that time, we'll have telephone call in from Africa as well as the US and India, so that people around the world will be able to call in, live call, and ask questions. And as I said, if you cannot call in, you can always submit your questions on our platforms and we'll try to answer them. You can submit your questions through our email and we'll try to answer and respond to your questions on email. I think you may be able to also comment on YouTube and subscribe. That would be very helpful. Let me just say that I'm looking for writers that want to write about the subject with us, for us. And I'm also looking for people in graphic arts and people who make videos and do interviews and documentaries about these subjects, because I'm connected to many nations in Africa, and I would like very much for the people to be able to give their documented historical response at this time and juncture in the development of technology. I think is a very valid and valuable area for us to begin to investigate, research, document. I think the Pew Foundation, some of the others have begun and maybe even finished parts and steps of their own research into the technology's impact. So I'm not the only one who's waving a red flag saying, warning, dangers. These are the things to look out for. All right. We are halfway through the broadcast, and I want to discuss a little bit more with you about how we are going about our transition. We recently received transition. So we were on WhatsApp and we had different groups for each nation, and people were added to the groups, and each group welcomed you and went over the Global Symposium purpose for existing and how we were there to share information with you in a group format. We did that, and we did that for about a month and a half. And what we found out was there was a little disconnect between this group or this group in one nation or another. So now what we are attempting to do and have taken steps to do is to put everyone in one group on WhatsApp. And we were on WhatsApp Business. And we also have a news channel on WhatsApp Business. And then everyone was able to read whatever or watch whatever video and then feedback individually to the leadership. So now we could have private conversations with you if you signed up onto WhatsApp in one of the groups, any one of the groups. That was a marvelous idea and it's working. So please be advised that you can do the same thing on our social media platforms. Look at the recordings, write us by messenger, provide your typed feedback if you want to write on that platform. And we are very happy for your engagement and involvement because this symposium only works when there's communication that goes back and forth, exchanged. A discussion of information that is exchanged is given out and it's taken in and it's processed and it's analyzed, it's looked at, it's listened to, and now other people are all over the world giving their input into one symposium on technology that is constantly being held every week, every month, all year long. You can find out what you need to know and you can input if you need to. If you're an expert in technology and you have something constructive to add about the dangers of technology, we are not here to argue with people who are so gung-ho in favor of technology that they can't hear or see any dangers and they don't want to discuss any. We want the people who are willing to acknowledge and admit to us the technological dangers. It would be wonderful to have the experts come on board and say, I'm here to discuss with you in your platform what it is that I can contribute to the whole globe, knowing and understanding technological dangers that come with artificial intelligence on top of the internet dangers to technology that already existed. Okay. Let me see. Should I give you the email address? Global Symposium 65 at gmail.com. Global Symposium 65, I believe, has an underscore between global and symposium on Instagram. Yes, these are some of the places that you will find us. And you may look under honorgraceconsulting.com because we started there. And we have a website that at the moment is stagnant because there's no way to take all that information of people who want to connect with us through the website and also through social medias at the same time and broadcast. So our registering yourself through the website at this moment is frozen, and your scheduling consulting appointments through the website at this moment is frozen. So that's not the way to reach us, but you can reach us by email and you can reach us by our social media posts. If there are organizations that would like to hold a Zoom broadcast and have myself or any of the other doctors or all of us together come on board and discuss with you, your group, your family, your business, your educational institution, your hospital, your pharmaceutical company, whatever you would like, just let us know. Because again, our motive is to inform, raise awareness, and help provide solutions or steps one can take to protect themselves, to make themselves safer, to decide what they want to do as a response, and moving forward to continue to catch up and keep up with the latest technological news breakthroughs and companies and what they're doing. Okay. We are 20 minutes away from closing. And let me say to you, I am so grateful that you have come here and listened to this woman that literally, there's one little woman who just said, I need to do something about the global technology problem. Let me at least share the information that I do know. Let me research more information. Let me connect with people who are willing to connect to move forward and do more about it and find out more about it. Let me contact the experts and ask them if they'll come on the show. Let me contact the governments and ask them, could you come on and talk about what your country's doing to help people acclimate to technology coming in a much wider scale? And listen, when technology started, the internet started, listen, it wasn't this powerful. It had the potential, but it wasn't this powerful. Now you've got this huge power of internet technology, and it's armed now with AI, with artificial intelligence, and everything that that brings with it. It is a whole nother situation now. It is so much stronger. I'm sorry, my voice is like, because I realize the seriousness and the impact and even the potential of destruction and harm to people. I want to tell you that I had eye surgery, and they used technology to do my surgery. And you will see that one of my eyes is more closed than the other. And you will see that I am at time, struggling with my eyes. And so I just want to tell you that this technology thing is no joke. The seriousness, the magnitude of what technology can do or is doing, you need to know it. Your children need to know it, and your community, your family, your congregations, your assemblies, your schools, they need to all become extremely aware. This needs to be a priority in every household. This needs to be an agenda of every parent to have a discussion with your children. This needs to be a priority in every household of faith that you're bringing up. How does God, the way you see him, I'll put it that way, want you to interact? And the internet, about the information about the internet. How can you help people to get the information, use the information to their benefit? Use the information to align. Listen, we need other ways to communicate. You need to grow your own food, if you allow me to say so that whoever's controlling agriculture in the future of technology doesn't stop you and your community from being able to eat or enter a grocery store or whatever. We need to learn, Africa, how to manufacture our own foods in a way that we are drying fruits and we are drying vegetables and we are able to eat all year round, and we are doing differently. We are thinking wisely, strategically in terms of the global framework of technology, that it's not controlling us, that we have a way to communicate. Independent Africa, you're experts at story communication before internet came. We've got to relook at some of the things that were done before the technology came and understand what our options are. We have to employ some options that don't depend on technology. We cannot let technology take over everything. It is not good in every way. It's good for us to labor. It's not good for us to sit around and be lazy and gain weight. Yes, you can go to gyms and you can find more technology to help you exercise and spend maybe $50 to $200, $300, $500, $700, $1,000 a month, $1,500, $2,000, whatever you can afford. And guess what? You could have gotten the exercise without paying that money, and that money could go to help poor people if you care to do it. Or you could find other ways to use the time when you were laboring, doing something that still gave you exercise that you enjoy. Okay, I won't get into that too much more because I don't want to sound like I'm making a judgment decision about people who spend that kind of money at a spa. No, go ahead, do it. It's fine. I'm just trying to help people understand how much the technology is impacting our world without even a glimpse by most people of what's going on. And that's what makes it even more dangerous. A subtle enemy, a criminal that comes in, takes what they want from you, takes that information, takes that time. Listen, when you get on the internet, your mind is connected to what's going on that internet. Your ears are listening and attuned. What is going on that I'm involved in? I want to understand. I want to see. I want to know. It's something I'm enjoying, whatever. Okay, your hands are involved. You may be sitting sedentary. You may be sitting in the same position. You may be not elevating your legs and moving around often enough. And that can seriously damage your health. You have to think about this. It's seriously damaging to your health. To believe anything that's false on the internet being true is dangerous. For people to be able to imitate who you are, what you're saying or didn't say, and have you thought of by other people as saying it is dangerous. I saw a video of Mark Zuckerberg, and I know I'm repeating this from last broadcast, and I believe that it may have been Mark Zuckerberg, and he said he was around people who create algorithms, and he was hearing them discussing, or he was part of a discussion that they were discussing how to take our brains or our minds out of our bodies and leave the body. I think he said that one of them desired to do that he was, feeling like really happy, excited, passionate about it. And Mr. Zuckerberg, if I'm not mistaken, the video said, no, 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 you're going too far. This is wrong. Look, you're going over the edge. Like that's not even right morally. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what's going to happen to people's body? Whatever he said, you find the video, you find Mark Zuckerberg, you ask him. I saw the video. I don't know if it was him or it was clone, but what he said was he took a stand and he said, no. And then he made the video. So pray to God, in my mind, pray to God that that's true, that he took a stand and it was him. And he's waving the red flag saying, hey, danger. These babies, these boys are thinking way over there, okay, way out the box. Anyway, I want you to know if there are groups thinking way out the box. Okay, so next broadcast, I'm going to try to bring to you also the names of any governing organization or body that meets together, that tries to input on the impact of technology, any kind of regulation that could be or should be or is going to be or it has been on any type of technology that affects all of us in humanity. I think it's very, very serious that we begin to organize places and methods of discussing the technology dangers and not let up, to keep up with it, monitor it, communicate in what you find, what you understand. I believe that some of the people that I named to you that are experts, they are at great universities and institutions and organizations, MIT, UCLA. But understand this, some of the same institutions that we have minds that are experts saying red flag, danger, warning, we need to do something. This is what I suggest or recommend, and I'll go over what they suggest and recommend as well as their objections in writing. I'll read it to you. Not today because the show's off in a few minutes, but I will read it to you because some of these very same institutions around the world are experimenting with things such as there is an organization, I think it's called Ectolife, a business, and they are discussing their ability to create babies outside of the womb and have a technology environment that's a artificial womb, if you will, for birthing the baby and causing the baby to grow up and mature. And you can talk to the baby, see the baby, hear the baby. The baby is monitored by technology. You can have remote to control the environment of the baby. The baby's birthing is when you push a button and release the window. And if you push the button, the water floods out that the baby was being sustained in. How do I know this? I was looking into having a child and I found it. I would like to know what you think about it. I'll discuss what I think about it another time, but I want to tell you that there are other institutions that are credible, respected, regarded scientific and medical institutions that are currently involved in producing the same thing, the same type of thing, a technological, reproducible womb. See, we are so on the edge of crossing a line that will not be able to be returned from. We are, in general, human beings may not want to accept their natural circumstances and capacities. I look at the internet and I say, why do we need better, supposedly better, faster, more all the time? It's money driven. It's primarily money driven. Now, there are people that are driven by wanting something new. You know, they got to have the latest, the greatest, the newest, the blah, 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 the best. It's supposed to be the best. But if the best comes along with side effects that damage the rest of the humanity, come on. There's a point, there's a line. There should be something that says, no, I don't want to do that. That's why some of our greatest scientists are putting on their own brakes for themselves and warning other scientists, look, I've crossed the line. I tell you now, if I could take it back, I would, because it wasn't worth it, because the benefits of the good do not outweigh the bad. And I feel responsible for someone taking what I invented out of my hands and causing destruction, or causing death, causing pain, causing emotional stress. Oh, by the way, I left that completely out of our discussion. It's under health. But the emotional agony tied to some of the things that happened through the computer. I know a man who got psyched out and offered false proof on the computer for investing his money. And when he saw his money build up, he said, okay, I'd like to take it out now. Well, of course, the people who had tricked him into thinking they were from his same nation, they told him he'd have to pay more money to get his money out. And then I don't remember if he told me he paid a little bit more to get it out. And then they said, no, that's not enough. It's gone up now. The requirement's higher. And that's when he realized, oh my goodness, I've been scammed terribly. And it took him years to build up that money. He had 2 businesses and he doesn't anymore. Come on. That was terribly hard for a young Gambian to go through. He doesn't even want to tell the story and anyone to know his name. He's so hurt. And I don't blame him. Anyway, it can happen to people that are educated and it can happen to people who are not. There's no discrimination with it. There really is not. It's across the board. I would just like to say thank you so much for paying attention, letting this sink in, making a use of the material. Listen to the broadcast over. It's rebroadcast on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. And you are welcome to join in the Global Symposium. It exists for you. It's an open conversation around the globe. You don't have to be any specific nationality or race or age or anything. We want to hear from everybody. And we want you to know that we are a reliable source for information about technology and that we care about people. We love people. We want everybody to be all right. I'm going to go to another broadcast that focuses on faith and applications of what word I've presented here in a biblical context. If you ever want to go there, it's called Calvary Blood of Christ Ministries. It is broadcast on YouTube and Facebook, and I will be going there immediately after I leave here. And it is also broadcast at 9 a.m. American time, New York time, Eastern Standard Time. So you're welcome to join there. And then you're welcome to hear the broadcast there. And if you so choose, we do pray there. But we don't hear because we don't want people who are not in our faith not to come get the information. So out of respect for whatever decisions that they've made for their lives, instead of trying to change someone's mind about their faith, we're saying, okay, let's discuss the information. And we will have a broadcast that discusses the faith aspects here. But you'll know that when you come on the show, we'll say today's subject is blah. Today's subject was the general welcoming to the Global Symposium, how we got started and our purpose, and then listing the dangers. We elaborated the list of dangers, and we also have a more elaborate list of experts in the field and their books. And next week, I'll have the names of their books, and I'll have a schedule for you of when we're going to discuss each subject. And we're going to be inviting not only media around the world to join us and carry us as well. We're inviting the Chamber of Commerce in Africa, and we're inviting governments in Africa to come. We're inviting the African National Congress if they would like to come individually or a couple at a time, because this is a global issue and it has to be addressed. I know there are people in other parts of the world that need this information that are not in India or Africa or America. But what I'm focused on right now is my personal relationship and commitment and heart for Africa, which I hope to return to, and how I can help the African people who have not fully been engulfed. It's a one continent that's not fully engaged and engulfed yet. They're very close to being inundated and overwhelmed. And that's why I call it blindsiding. Okay, that's a term, blindsiding. That is a term that implies that you are just knocked out by something. You're just taken by surprise. You have no ability to resist or stand up because you don't even know it hit you. It's called blindsiding. And this broadcast is devoted and intended to prevent blindsiding. Okay. I would like to just say one more thing. Boy, welcome to the Global Symposium. It's your conversation, and it's not just my conversation. So, you're going to see people on here time to time presenting information that's not me. I may or may not be here, but don't stop watching. Don't stop inputting. Don't stop signing up. Don't stop telling your friends. This is the happening place for getting information about technology without bias. We don't care who the people are that we get the information from. What I mean is we're not excluding. If people bring us a source that's good, we're grateful for it. We'll take it. We'll broadcast whatever it is. If you have no education and you know all about technology, bring it. We're here. You're welcome. This is a real nitty gritty, down to earth, educated, uneducated forum. You're all welcome. There's no judgment about things like that here. There's no bias about it. If you need someone to speak for you in a different language, try to give us some heads up, and we'll try to not only help you to have interpretation or have your interpreter welcome, but we also try to post the closed caption and so forth. So, everybody can take part. And I apologize because the closed caption scroll is not on there right now this week, but it will be. Like I said, this is our third broadcast. We're coming down to the last minute of the broadcast. And let me say to everybody who helped me get this far, to bring this program, to bring this information to you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for helping in every way you did, whatever you did, and for the purpose and why you did it. May you be rewarded according to what you have done. And that includes everybody. All right, look for our rebroadcast on Saturday on Matimba TV. I'd like to thank Apostle Bishop Matimba, and I'd like to thank his wife for their broadcast. I'd like to thank the gentleman who introduced me to Apostle Matimba, which would be Dr. Franklin Ogagba in South Africa. I thank you, Dr. Frank, publicly. I'd like to thank whom I'm going to call my spiritual father and my good friend, Apostle Dr. Roland Talbot. I'd like to thank my Apostle Wall. That would be Prince and Apostle Dr. Joseph Wugamba and Dr. Charles Wachiniki and Apostle Dr. Warkoro, Chinadu Warkoro, and Apostle Dr. Innocent Edu. I thank you, gentlemen, for being the Apostle Wall and standing with me in this victory of a global symposium. God bless you. Thank you.
The following program is made possible by the partners of Honor Grace Consulting. Yahweh TV and Matamba Power Facebook profile accounts. Assume no responsibility or liability for opinions shared on this program. Thank you.